Did you know that foreign investors own a portion of the U.S. that's bigger than the entire state of Nebraska? It's true. As of 2023, foreigners own 46 million acres of U.S. farmland. That's 3.61% of all privately held farmland, and it's a number that's been steadily growing. Now, before you start picturing the Queen of England riding a John Deere through Iowa, let's break down who these foreign landowners actually are. The biggest player in the game is our friendly neighbor to the north, Canada. They hold 33.5% of foreign-owned U.S. farmland, which amounts to about 15.35 million acres. Trailing behind Canada are the Netherlands, Italy, the UK, and Germany. China owns about 380,000 acres of U.S. farmland. Although a small percentage of total farmland, it's still a concerning number for a country that is building up to contest the U.S. While Americans still own the vast majority of farmland in the U.S., it's still a very concerning trend that foreigners continue to buy up American farmland. Now, you might be wondering, why is American farmland so attractive to foreign investors? Well, the answer is blowing in the wind, literally. One of the biggest drivers of the recent surge in foreign interest is America's booming renewable energy sector. See, those massive wind turbines popping up across the country need somewhere to stand, and that somewhere is often prime American farmland. Over half of the increase in foreign-owned farmland from 2022 to 2023 was linked to renewable energy projects right here in the U.S. And it's not just wind power. Solar farms are also taking root on American soil, often backed by foreign investors. This trend has led to a fascinating shift in the type of American land being snapped up. While you might picture sprawling fields of corn or soybeans, the reality is that a growing proportion of foreign-owned land in America is dedicated to harnessing the power of the sun and wind, reducing the food production capabilities for Americans. So, where exactly are these foreign investors setting up shop? Well, it turns out they're not just flocking to the heartland. The Lone Star State of Texas tops the list with the most foreign-owned land, clocking in at 5.7 million acres. But here's a curveball. Maine, a state not exactly known for its agricultural prowess, comes in second with 3.5 million acres. In fact, Maine has the highest proportion of foreign-held land at a staggering 21%. Now, before you start picturing Maine turning into a giant maple syrup farm run by Canadians, it's important to note that much of this land is forest land used for timber production. On the other end of the spectrum, you have states like Iowa and Indiana, which have actually seen declines in foreign-owned acres. This patchwork of ownership highlights the resilience and adaptability of American agriculture in the face of global interest. Now, the idea of foreigners owning a piece of America is bound to raise some eyebrows, and rightfully so. There are legitimate concerns about national security, particularly when it comes to land owned by investors from countries that aren't exactly best buds with the U.S. The specter of a Chinese company owning farmland near a sensitive military base is enough to make anyone a bit uneasy. In response to these concerns, there's been a flurry of legislative activity aimed at putting the brakes on foreign ownership. From state houses to the halls of Congress, lawmakers are scrambling to introduce bills that would restrict or even ban foreign investment in U.S. farmland. But not everyone's on board with this protectionist approach. Some argue that these restrictions could stifle foreign investment and harm the very agricultural industry they're intended to protect. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, and it's one that's likely to become even more pressing as the global land grab continues. I believe American farmland needs to remain in American hands. One thing's for sure, the future of U.S. agriculture is inextricably linked to the decisions we make about foreign ownership today.